Welcome to In Conversation on Nationalist Hub. It is not often that you get a person who talks, and who talks a lot. And what does he talk? He talks politics, he talks art, he talks culture, of course he talks books. But more important than that, he's a person who can captivate an audience. And I'm not exaggerating. An author, a speaker, a journalist, and lots more. That is Sriram Karri for you. Sriram was born in Bilaspur in Madhya Pradesh, which is now a part of Chhattisgarh. Did his schooling from Southeastern Railway School in Bilaspur, and when a national scholarship took him to Delhi College as a government scholar. Sriram was selected for the National Defence Academy 88 course, stood 5th on the toppers list for the Air Force, but he could not join the NDA owing to a medical issue. He then completed his graduation in arts from BVK College in Visakhapatnam. History, economic and political sciences were his subjects. Sriram was also a member of the Young Orators Club in Secunderabad, the results of which show up in the interaction with the authors he does during book release. Welcome to Nationalist Hub, Sriram. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Suresh.
I know it's I don't know where to start. Basically, that's a problem with a person asking questions to a person like you. But I think basically, at the end of the day, you live, breathe, eat politics every day in your newspaper, which you represent, which is as the editor of Deccan Chronicle that you are, that you basically have been through this journey of letters, the journey of words all through your life. But when we often talk, it's all about politics. You know, what do we do after Munugodu? What happens in Telangana? What happens in Andhra? What happens with Modi at the national level? So I'll basically start by randomizing the question by asking you, when Munugodu happened, when Rajgopal Reddy resigned his seat, do you think, looking back, did he take the right decision to resign his seat, or you should have just kept it with him for some more time? He had 6 months of time, isn't it, where he could keep the seat, even after defecting from the party. But do you think that Munugodu today has proved a kind of a game changer in Telangana, maybe both ways, for the BJP as well as for the TRS, and of course for the Congress? What's your take on that?
Retrospective wisdom, hindsight, are huge, powerful instruments which I believe nobody should use. Today, post the results of Munugodu election, it would be most unfair to say he shouldn't have resigned because he eventually lost. It is like saying after a cricket match, he shouldn't have batted first, he should have bowled. But you are saying that after 40 overs are over. That decision the person on the spot takes before. And therefore, that's definitely not a decision I would call wrong. He did what he believed he ought to do, and everything else followed. All I could say about Telangana politics at large is the most significant emotion I feel going through people in Telangana is one of anti-incumbency against the ruling TRS party, which is coming to the end of its second term, a little more than a year left. I do not think TRS per se is naturally prepared, as it would have liked to go on to win an unprecedented third term by a Telugu-speaking chief minister. It's never happened before. On the other hand, TRS always believes KCR is the man to do extraordinary things nobody else did before. Marichana Reddy couldn't get you Telangana, KCR could, and extraordinary agitation. And the way he led the agitation shows his political intelligence, his sense of vision, his ability to work with people, to play different roles at different times and eventually steer the aspiration of people, make it an organized movement and achieve a target. And I think he has been successful. But today I believe things are not hunky-dory for TRS. It's safe to say that the government is extremely unpopular on several counts. But the most significant reasons, if you ask me to put it very simply, would be A, the perception of arrogance, B, there's a certain boredom, C is a sense of corruption, or a kind of corruption that has led to failure of governance and certain promises, and D, a feeling that the dynasty is ruling. So all these factors simply put together have left an emotion in people yearning for some kind of a change. That, however, doesn't naturally mean the BJP can expect a second government in the south naturally. Congress and BJP both exist. It will be very easy to write off the Congress given the series of defeats. I mean, the last 5 by-elections we've had in Telangana, BJP has won 2. TRS has won 1 against the BJP, which is Munugodu, and has won 2 others against the Congress, where BJP was not in the race at all. So essentially the score is 3-2. Congress, all 5 lost. Whether it's their MLA leaving, their MLA resigning after becoming MP, or death, whatever be the reason, they lose. So it's not been good news for Congress, but I'll eschew the temptation to write off Congress even now. As far as Telangana politics is concerned, they have a leader who's aware of what it takes. Circumstances are not comfortably, not good for Congress for sure. No doubt about it, Suresh. I don't think anybody would like to be a Congress leader right now because there's a sense of irrelevance, a sense of inevitable decline, and kind of nobody takes you seriously kind of a scenario is there about Congress. That's a negative. But the fact is, BJP is not that kind of an organization across Telangana. They're growing. If you ask me how's the game set, see it like a triangular tournament. TRS is an extraordinarily smart political party. It has a template of how to win elections. It is capable of doing Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed as well as the BJP. Problem for TRS, besides the incumbency factor, is they weakened the Congress after the 2018 beyond a certain limit. Congress is a nice opposition to have if you're the ruling party. You kind of removed the Congress and showed the green signal to BJP, and it came in. And now BJP again, in the BJP, I mean, Suresh, I'm talking to you about the Modi Shah 2014 onwards BJP. It has perfected the art of winning elections. It has a template, it knows what it takes. It can go from 0 to 90 in 6 seconds. But there's a problem for BJP too. Its success rate against the Congress is phenomenally high. But the success rate of BJP against regional parties, more so non-Hindi speaking regional parties, is very, very poor. It hasn't yet won. In Karnataka, yes, there is a regional party, but it was third in the race. It really won it against the Congress. From Tamil Nadu, DMK, IDMK, Kerala is of course one national party, one international party, no regional party as such. Maharashtra to some extent, Bihar, Bengal, Odisha, Andhra. BJP doesn't have it easy, and it will not have it easy in Telangana. But this is the game we have got 13 months from now. Either KCR will make history by going on to become the CM and leading his party to victory for a 3rd straight term, or the BJP will form its 2nd government, or Congress will be reborn. All 3 would have enormous impact on national politics. So 2023 Telangana elections, while we can see it as a silo, while we can see it as a independent thing by itself, after all, when people elect their state government, that's the end in itself. But whatever be the outcome, it will have very large national repercussion.
Sriram, that's a great opening gambit, if I can call it that way, that you put the entire cards on the table of all those 3 parties. TRS into its 3rd term, trying for a 3rd term, BJP trying to get a foothold after Karnataka, and of course Congress trying to stay relevant while its party president, or rather the party leader, is still walking across the nation trying to get some votes for the party at last. The point is that you rightly made is about the Dravidian parties in Tamil Nadu. It's be it AIDMK or DMK, they are basically just a name, just an alphabet extra or alphabet less. The question also would be in Kerala, as you rightly said, whether there's a religious communist combination which doesn't work to BJP's advantage. But when you look at Andhra per se, I mean, there Jagan will now again complete his 2nd term. So what will happen is, did Jagan face such an anti-incumbency which KCR is facing in Telangana? Why is it so that there doesn't seem to be any anti-incumbency, at least in Andhra, if my reading goes right? As an editor of a newspaper like Deccan Chronicle, you must be reading this tea leaves every day to understand what's happening out there.
My understanding, Suresh, is one, Jagan is running a first term government and KCR is running a second term government. Second thing is post bifurcation, the realities of Andhra and Telangana are very different. Telangana was the winner of bifurcation, if you like, and Andhra in some sense was the loser of the bifurcation. After all, Andhra did not want bifurcation.
True.
And essentially they did not want to lose Hyderabad. So Telangana is a state with an extraordinary capital like Hyderabad, which was taking care of 23 districts. Now it takes care of only 10 districts. There's a capital surplus. So Telangana was the winner. The expectations post formation of Telangana were very high. Essentially, if you leave all the political promises, Dalit CM, merge TRS into Congress, all those, nobody takes them seriously. What people really hoped for, really genuinely hoped for, they'll get a house, a 2-bedroom house. Somebody in the family will get a job. By job, I don't mean eke a livelihood, but a job which would involve a visiting card, a dress, a name, an office, an address, some kind of dignity, some kind of social empowerment, which often means government job or a very good private sector job. So that kind of a job. And of course, drinking water and so on and so forth. But house and a job, historically, if you see roti, kapda, makan and naukri, they change the fate of a family. It means if you're poor, you actually move to the middle class, at least the lower rung of the middle class. If you're in the lower rung of the middle class, one member in the family gets a job, you move to the middle class. So they thought Telangana, the coming of Telangana would mean every family hoped they will jump up. In contrast, in Andhra Pradesh, the aspirations were not so high because they knew their government was at a kind of a weak hand. You don't have a capital. Chandrababu Naidu made the Amravati gambit. People rejected it very vehemently. Jagan has come and pulled the plug on Amravati for all practical purposes and made Vizag the capital. I mean, this 3 capital is just a word.
True.
See, they'll just build a high court in Kurnool. The Amravati structures that exist, they'll use it as an assembly. But these days the life of assembly per year has gone shorter and shorter, like our winters because of global warming. So as autocratic leaders lead in an executive fashion, the need to have an assembly, the need to listen to an opposition, need to have discussions, question hour, they're gone. So the importance of the legislature is been reduced for all practical purposes. So Amravati will be that assembly and Kurnool will be the court, but essentially Vizag will be the capital. Jagan has bet on that. Jagan has also bet, very interestingly, on a different kind of a welfare model than KCR. It's very interesting if you see KCR's welfare model, they are all land dependent. Raitu Bandhu, the more land you have, the more welfare you'll get. It is reversing the wisdom of welfare that the poorer a person is,
You should get it.
lesser he'll get more. But here is somebody who says, you have 1 acre land, you'll get 4,000. You have 100 acres, you'll get that much more. And today the land prices are very high. So why are you subsidizing a rich landlord? So it's a very landlord minded. Even take the house case. They said we'll not be able to give you 2-bedroom houses anymore. We can't give 3 acres of land to Dalits anymore. We don't have that much land. But if you have a land, I'll give you money to build a house. If you have a land. If you don't have land, I'll not give you anything. That's KCR's. In contrast, Jagan is going for a very simple, ironically, Chandrababu Naidu was called the CEO of Andhra Pradesh Inc. between 95 to 2004. But Jagan is the guy who's giving the dividends. He's saying whatever money I have, I'll give cash to people. Cash in hand. Is there an upper limit to which it can give you electoral dividends? We always spoke about a welfare state. Not many people understand what it means. But I think Andhra Pradesh under Jagan Mohan Reddy is reaching that kind of a near welfare state where government will earn money, give it off to people, it will really not do much. There is anti-incumbency, Suresh, against Jagan Mohan Reddy. But is it adequate? Is it sufficient? Has it reached a tipping point to defeat Jagan Mohan Reddy? I don't think so. I still believe Jagan Mohan Reddy, even with the growing anti-incumbency, there is anti-incumbency. People are upset about roads. People are upset that there is no development. People are upset that Middle classes know that their children have to go and work outside Andhra. Anybody who's got a good education would have to find a job in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, or US, or Delhi, or Gurgaon. They come. That's why the rushes, you see during Dashara, Diwali, and Shankranti, trains and buses filling. So kind of immigration forced on them. They used to come to Hyderabad before, but they felt you were in the same state. But now you feel you're going to a neighboring state. So their own state having a capital, unlikely. That's a feeling. So there are factors of anti-incumbency against Jagan Mohan Reddy. Is it that severe? Is it that widespread? Or the money will give him another term? I believe as of this moment, we are very, very far away. 2 weeks, too long a time in politics. We are now talking of in 2022, what will happen in 24 May, 18 plus months ahead. I think it's too ahead to really talk about. But as of this moment, I believe Jagan Mohan Reddy will go on to get a second term with lesser number of seats. Janasena and TDP will be a stronger opposition. But I'll also like to venture in this moment to say something very interesting. In Andhra Pradesh, caste is more significant than Telangana. Telangana is not as casteist a society as Andhra is. Andhra is a very caste conscious society. It's closer to Bihar or UP that way. But if you see the entire history of Andhra Pradesh, it's by and large been ruled by people of two castes, the Reddy and the Kama. I believe Pawan Kalyan, if he can hold on, despite not winning and coming to power in 24, if he holds on, people are just testing him, will he run away like his brother? So far he hasn't. If Pawan Kalyan continues to be in AP politics after 24, should he lose? See, if he wins, obviously he'll continue. But if he loses and continues, he may go on to be the first non-Reddy, non-Kama Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in 29.
Yeah, you rightly said, Sriram, that's the caste plays a big part in Andhra politics, and we all know that. But out of the blue, a man who was the CEO of AP Incorporated, as you rightly said, Chandrababu Naidu, has today become a footnote in history. I mean, you don't see him much of these days. Those are days when just before the 2018 elections, he was going all around the place, the Lok Sabha elections of 2019, and saying that I'm going to lead the coalition, Mamata Banerjee. You had everybody on board, Stalin, Pinarayi Vijayan, Deva Gowda. He got all of them on board. Now we're seeing a similar experiment happening with the BRS. Of course, we'll come to that. But the main question is, you spoke about Pawan Kalyan, but you never actually pushed the case for Chandrababu Naidu. Why is it so?
I would like to believe, and there's been a game of thorns on Twitter and otherwise between Telugu Desam and I am one of those people who are actually originally a big Chandrababu Naidu fan. I came to Hyderabad in the same week that the coup was happening in Viceroy. My first assignment as a journalist was to go to Viceroy Hotel and trying what's happening. I had no clue, and my senior would say, oh, this is the Home Minister Indira Reddy, he's being stopped from entering a place. All these extraordinary visuals we saw. Never forget that. So pretty much, so technically I've been there from day one to watch Chandrababu's. It took him a year and a half to settle down. Bad power situation. There used to be power cuts. Even hoardings and shops were told in Hyderabad to shut down. No power, power scarcity. Prohibition had destroyed the kind of coffers of AP were dry, and there were 2 rupee rice scheme and so on and so forth. Chandrababu Naidu inherited an extraordinary situation. And I'll tell you this, Suresh, later on ask me this, about the 3 CMs who have gone on to become CMs and started with a negative scenario, and 2 of them have gone on to do extraordinary things. One is Chandrababu Naidu, one is Narendra Modi. The third is Shinde in Maharashtra. Where will he go? I don't know. But Chandrababu Naidu began like that. In 18 months or so, he settled down. And I think as a chief minister, roughly between 97 to 2002, those 6 odd years, I think in independent India's history, one of the greatest visionaries at work. His ability to see this Hyderabad today, his ability to realize that London was very crucial to the British Empire. The capital city is not about a place where you have an assembly or a high court, but it's an economic engine. It is driver of aspiration. It's a global magnet. And you use that and create that surplus and then you spread it. Problem was, with any trickle down effect, you have to make it very effective. There's an insider trading case against some of them in Amravati. I believe an insider trading also happened while Hyderabad was being developed.
True.
Some people grew enormously rich. There's no sense of equity. Even today, software engineers, according to me, who brought this boom to this city, can't afford land. So it was a great vision. Hyderabad did transform under Babu. His government was ahead of its time, but there were certain lacuna that really brought him down. He stood for 10 years as an opposition leader in irrelevance after YSR, after Telangana agitation picked up, etc. But he got an opportunity because of the bifurcation that left Andhra feeling it has been done badly, and Babu was the guy to steer it. I think his term from 2014 to 19 was not good. He misplaced his priorities, and I think the TDP government fully went all in on Amravati, which was not needed. Had they approached it like Jagan, saying Vijayawada, Guntur will be the capital, build a few buildings, get on with it, and we'll build a capital over a period of time, as opposed to go with the financial position they were in, with no long-term possibility of growth in economy beyond a point. That bet was a bad bet. You asked me, did Rajgopal make a mistake in resigning in Munugodu? And I feel no, he did not. But if you ask me, did Babu make a mistake in putting all in on Amravati? And my answer is yes. He made a mistake, and it's too big a mistake for AP to give him another chance. And at his age, if he loses in 2024, I don't think many people will see hope in Babu bringing his government back to power in 29. If he loses this, it will also mean in 25 years, between 2004 to 2029, he would have been in power only for 5 years and in opposition for 20 years. 4 defeats. You guys attack Rahul Gandhi for 2 defeats. Chandrababu Naidu has lost more than he has won.
And you rightly mentioned that, Chandrababu Naidu misplaced his priorities. But somewhere along the way, there was a gentleman called Rajshekhar Reddy, who many say, like John F. Kennedy's untimely death, had he not died, the history of the state, or the present state of Telangana and the past state of Andhra Pradesh would have been drastically different. Do you think there are some moments in history where you will say, I wish this did not happen? Was Rajshekhar Reddy's death one such moment?
Well, when a popular leader passes away in an accident, it's very sad. And I think YSR was an extraordinarily successful leader, very charismatic. And his impact was there for all to see. But counterfactuals is a nice idle game, Suresh, but who knows? I believe that had he been alive, it would have been great for the Congress party, but I don't think you could have stopped Telangana. I think Telangana was an idea whose time had come. Even if YSR was alive, I don't think he could have stopped KCR in Telangana. And therefore, who knows, YSR would have been a lesser leader had he been alive. There was an attack on Chandrababu Naidu. He survived. This accident happened, YSR passed away. If you play this theoretic game post a period of time, who knows what could have been. But no, I don't think Telangana could have been stopped. But the passing away of YSR will remain a tragic incident in both the history of Congress party as well as the Telugu people. I mean, he is such a popular leader. Very sad, yeah.
I think the Congress never recovered from that blow. I think even to this date that they can't find a tall enough leader to replace Rajshekhar Reddy. Of course, they had leaders in the past like P.V. Narasimha Rao, Neelam Sanjeev Reddy, all of whom came from the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, if you can call it that way. But in a sense, Sriram, you did mention 2 important political leaders or chief ministers in the conversation that we had a bit earlier. One was, of course, Shinde in Maharashtra. More importantly, Narendra Modi in Gujarat. Like you came from a very small town of Bilaspur in now Chhattisgarh, then Madhya Pradesh, and many people who are watching this telecast possibly couldn't even put it on a map and say, here is Bilaspur. Maybe that is how our geography knowledge goes. But when you see people from small towns succeeding, we all stand up and applaud and say, wow, this is it. But for Narendra Modi to move from a state like Gujarat, and even before that when he was banished away from Gujarat, to come back, become the chief minister, prove himself, and then suddenly out of nowhere gets pitchforked to a national stage, and now completing 2 terms, and maybe a 3rd term is also on the anvil. How do you read this phenomenon of Narendra Modi? Because we talked about the state of politics in Telangana, be it the chief ministers who were here before, and now of course Chandrasekhar Rao, and also about Jagan in Andhra Pradesh. But Narendra Modi has outgrown the phenomenon of Gujarat into a national stage. Some people still refer to him as Gujarat, and even other day he said, I made Gujarat. So what is your take on this entire concept of Narendra Modi coming out of nowhere?
See, in India in the last 70 years, we keep talking about this cultural nepotism under which India operates. Businesses are inherited. Politics, national parties, regional parties are run by families where the son of the leader, or if the leader suddenly passes away, the widow will. The recent by-election we had 3 days back, Mungodu was one. If you see all the 7 elections, dynasty was voted back in a sense. So are we dynasts, and yet do we like the underdogs? Do we like people from rags to riches kind of story, the Cinderellas, so to say? And I think Indian politics, like Indian movies and Indian cricket and Indian life, has space for both. Without a doubt, we have loved leaders in all areas who come from a family. We have loved the sons of heroes, we have loved the daughters of heroines, we have loved the widow or the son or son-in-law of the dead politician and voted them back to power. We have wondered how the son cricketer of the father famous cricketer would play, etc. But we also had from nothing to something story. If you look at Bollywood, we talk of nepotism. 2 of its greatest stars in the last 70 years, Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan, are not from families. Whereas there's so many others who have been, son of somebody, etc. Similarly, if you see Indian politics, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, P.V. Narasimha Rao, Chandrababu Naidu, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, J. Jayalalitha, most of them are actually from very poor backgrounds, from very modest. They have risen in one generation, and their politics actually uses the wisdom they were of seen, of having experienced poverty and so on and so forth. Mr. Narendra Modi, however, is an outlier of a different kind, Suresh. And this is how I'll put it. Leave pre-independent India, where you have Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest leader, then you have Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, you had Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh. I mean, leave that pantheon. They are something else. Post-independent India, there is only one leader who, if Mr. Modi wins in 2024, he'll equal and surpass. And he would love to. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru never saw defeat in his life. So far, Mr. Modi has not seen defeat. BJP has lost a few elections, by-elections, etc. But since the day he became, 22 years now, he's never had to sit in opposition. First time he becomes an MLA, he's a CM. First time he becomes a Prime Minister, MP, he becomes a Prime Minister. He's never had to see defeat. So people will ask, in 2024, what will happen? It's unlikely that any leader should go undefeated. Indira Gandhi saw defeat, Atal Bihari Vajpayee saw defeat. Every major leader, name it, lost. Why and how come Modi will never lose if he doesn't go on to lose? So something extraordinary will happen in 24. Rahul Gandhi, I know you would like to dismiss the Bharat Jodo Yatra at this point of time, or for some more time, cannot be dismissed. The whole of India will observe this, Suresh, that the great advantage Mr. Modi has, Mr. Vajpayee had, Mr. Naveen Patnaik has, that they don't have a family, so they can't be corrupt by definition. Rahul Gandhi also is not married. He also doesn't have children. He can also dedicate every bit of his time from now on to the country and public service, and that whole frivolous image that is not serious, is not full time, is not committed enough. I think he's broken it down in the yatra so far. Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah will take him very seriously. So something extraordinary will happen. Either Mr. Modi will go on to win a third term in 24, which will mean he's equal Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and if he completes the term, surpass him. If Mr. Rahul Gandhi stops Mr. Modi, that would be something extraordinary too. That the whole country will say, oh look, I did not understand Rahul Gandhi properly. 2009 to 14, he could have become a prime minister. Any morning he could have woken up, he would say, I want to be PM, and he would have become prime minister. He refuses it. 2022, he is at his lowest. Only 2 states, even Aam Aadmi Party has 2 states. Whether Delhi is a state or not is a different bit. At the lowest, weakest moment, and Mr. Modi is at his most powerful moment, 300 seats in Lok Sabha, near majority in Rajya Sabha, he's delivered historic promises. Ram Temple, abrogation of 370, triple talaq, maybe uniform civil code. This kind of a Mr. Modi, at his strongest. Rahul Gandhi does not become Prime Minister 2009 to 14, when I said it would have been easy for him. He waits till it becomes nearly impossible and then begins to walk. And I went to Kanyakumari to cover the walk, and it just came to me, the words that was the headline the next day of the launch of the yatra: when the defeated walk, history is made. So a very weak person, when he starts walking, you never know. So 24 is an extraordinary election, by all means extraordinary. And I am very happy to say that BRS will play a very interesting role, because you can see the 24 election from 2 ways. Let's say for a minute we are in the BJP strategy office, and they'll say, look, the power of BJP, not many people appreciate this, is that set of states where they get nearly everything. 25 out of 25 Rajasthan, 26 Gujarat, 29 Madhya Pradesh, 11 Chhattisgarh, 7 Delhi, 5 and 4 Uttarakhand and Himachal. That seats, 110 of them. BJP has been getting 105, 106, nearly everything. Then Uttar Pradesh.
Biggest of them all.
A single block. But this MP, Rajasthan, Gujarat is bigger wins than, because they are different states. So these two make it less than 100 required for BJP in rest of India. If they just repeat this act in MP, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Himachal, Delhi, then you have Haryana, then you have Jharkhand, where they win good number of seats. Then they can win some seats in Bengal, Maharashtra, Bihar, Karnataka, and then they look at a few odd seats here and there. Looks like a 300 is possible for Modi again. But look at it from there is no such single opposition to Modi today, but if you look at it from the opposition perspective, 39 Tamil Nadu, Puducherry 140, 20 Kerala, 60 BJP 0. Add 25 from AP 0, unless they have an alliance, which is unlikely, with either YSRCP or BJP or TDP Janasena. So 85 seats BJP 0. Hold them in Telangana out of 17 or 16, because I am sure Hyderabad Lok Sabha seat nobody is taking away from Mr. Owaisi, unless you have an extraordinary rivalry like Raja Singh versus Assaduddin Owaisi. That will be a fascinating Lok Sabha election. It won't happen though. So out of 16, you give BJP just 1 or 2 seats, try and defeat them. Keep them very low in Karnataka. There's a lot of anger against BJP in Karnataka. If Congress goes on to win under D.K. Shivakumar and form a state government, may not, and wins about 20 seats. So BJP out of entire 130 seats in South could get restricted to less than 10. That's one possibility. That is when the game becomes difficult for them. That is when the opposition will need Naveen Patnaik, historic track record.
True.
May equal Manik Sarkar and Jyoti Basu if he goes on to win once more. Can he win? I don't know. But he can. Never write off or underestimate Naveen Patnaik. Anybody who's ever underestimated Naveen Patnaik has been proven wrong. Mamata Banerjee, don't write her off. She is a feisty, Rupam of Durga Devi, sort of in Bengal. You can never be sure yet. So these are the possibilities. These are the big battles. So there's a battle in big states, Bengal, Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a 2.5 into 1.5 kind of a battle. Had it been a Shiva Sena, NCP, Congress, it would have been an advantage. But now that Shiva Sena has been split, BJP plus Shinde versus 2.5, and Congress is not really a full party. So it's an equal, even Steven. Bihar, my reading is maybe we would have an election in Bihar where RJD, JDU and BJP fights the election separately. If that alliance between Lalu's family and Nitish breaks, very interesting election. So these are all the mini battles that add up. You spoke about Chandrababu Naidu no longer in power and favor to bring that coalition against Modi. He tried in 18. Can KCR do it in 23? Suresh, I'm saying, don't write him off. This man is very, very capable of doing extraordinary things. His biggest problem today is that Congress is a rival. He cannot tie up with Congress before the state elections. State elections happen in December. Lok Sabha happens in April, May. He'll have just those 4 months. He can't show any sign of conceding to Congress. State elections are important because if you lose in your own state, nobody takes you seriously.
True.
But if KCR wins Telangana and Bharat Jodo, the kind of impact I believe it is having, Rahul Gandhi Bharat Jodo, a KCR winning Telangana, 23 December, could mean big trouble for BJP. And which is why I am saying KCR will make history by winning the third term. Modi could make history by winning for the third term. They could both lose, they could both win, there could be something else in between. Rahul may make history. Fascinating times ahead.
Yeah, individual leaders with big egos. I mean, you rightly said about Mamata Banerjee. You talked about, and Lalu has a big ego for that matter. Nitish Kumar has it. I think that is Mr. Modi's biggest advantage. Been like that from 2014 is that everyone in that opposition camp wants to be the Prime Minister. Nobody wants to play the second fiddle unless it comes to a situation like what happened with Deve Gowda or Inder Kumar Gujral, where they had to put somebody in the front to run a government. But interestingly, I know you won't talk about this, but you had been to Bihar recently, I know that. You had been to Patna. And you had met one of the biggest backroom boys of Indian elections.
Not backroom anymore. He's doing Padayatra too.
Yeah.
Prashant Kishore
now he's in the front.
A politician now.
When I met him the first time when he was advising Mr. Modi in Gujarat those days, when he was the Gujarat CM, he was literally the backroom boy and he was just setting up the Citizens for Accountable Governance those days. And I worked with him in Varanasi, with his team rather, in Varanasi. Prashant Kishore does do some magic with people. Let us admit it. It was Modi. Later on, he went to Bengal. He went to Punjab, got kicked out. He went to Congress elsewhere. He advised Jagan, Stalin. Now, of course, KCR. But somewhere along the way, we don't see that presence of Prashant Kishore in Telangana. I mean, I may be wrong here. Maybe he's doing his work very, very quietly. But at the end of the day, a person like K.T. Ramarao, who believes in numbers, who crunches numbers, would rather believe in Prashant Kishore than his own party managers. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
I, Suresh, really don't know. I really don't know.
Come on, you're being modest. You spent hours with Prashant Kishore.
No,
I know that. I know you won't talk about it.
See, see Prashant Kishore. I mean, I've also spoken for 30 odd minutes with Rahul Gandhi ji on the Bharat Jodo Yatra, but doesn't mean that these people will tell you anything so confidential. I am not like a friend or advisor to any of them. Prashant Kishore and I had a chance to meet him and discuss. He's a fascinating mind, political mind. His knowledge, his observations are very astute. I always like to, there's a subject of interest. I talk to people who know politics and try and learn a bit. What is the relationship between TRS and Prashant Kishore? To the best of my knowledge, I think they're working together, but I don't know. I mean, it's really for you to ask either Prashant Kishore or Mr. K.T. Ramarao, really, but I think they did work together in Munugodu and they got a favorable result on the face of it. So, yeah, I mean, but also I will tell you this, a backroom boy, I mean, I myself worked with some political parties and leaders in different contexts as some kind of a advisor to, do well. Like a coach in a cricket team, or a doctor to a patient. There's so much they can do, they bring some advice, some perspective, but it depends finally on the leader. Look, no backroom boy is responsible for the victory of a leader beyond a point. Politics is about, just like a cricket match, a Virat Kohli goes to bat, what his coach told him, what you and I in the commentary box say, they're all very minuscule in terms of value add. His own performance on the field matters. Same way, when a KCR leads his party to an election, victory is his, defeat is his. When a Mr. Modi leads BJP, victory belongs to him, defeat belongs to him. All other factors are important of a particular weightage, but the supreme weightage belongs to the leader. So yes, if Mr. Modi's victory is his, no matter what value Prashant Kishore added, or whether even victory or defeat, the strategist does not need to take too much guilt when they lose, not too much credit when they win. So yeah, I don't think Prashant Kishore and TRS are done. Maybe not too strongly working right now, because Prashant has his own focus. He's left this work. That's what he says. So on the face of it.
No, that's why I know that there are many things that are unsaid in politics, or what it strictly called off the record comments that politicians make, and even he's a politician now. But I remember, Sriram, you were a writer. You're a prolific writer even now. I think 27 years, correct me if I'm wrong, in the industry now. You've been writing books. You've written 2 books, and I think 2 more are in the pipeline right now. But when you actually write books, I remember, when the 2 other books that you published, actually, they both had, one was of course a fiction and one was a non-fiction, if you can call it, the spiritual supermarket. Let's take it for example. Amazon review called it intellectually entertaining dummy's guide to philosophy, history and politics for everyone. Now, quite often what you cannot write in a newspaper, do you bring it out in your books?
Well, writing for the newspaper, journalism is a very different thing altogether. It looks similar because you're dealing with words and ideas, but no. Journalism is a very different kind of a everyday utility craft and skill, and it's crucial to societies. Democracies need good journalism. But I'm essentially somebody who always wanted to be and wishes to be a writer. And writing is art. It's supremely profound, and that's what I was born to do, and I suspect I'll do till I die. What impact my books may have versus what impact journalism has is for people to decide. Posterity has its own verdict. They'll leave it too young right now to think of that. But I believe they're very different. Journalism is literature in a hurry, somebody said. Somebody said books are not read, papers need not and should not be read. So different takes intellectuals have had, but they're both different, but both are intensely satisfying, both are challenging, and both are fun.
I think you diplomatically avoided saying what you wanted to
Okay,
say.
I'll put it this way. A newspaper, what you write at 12 at night, that gets published at 7 o'clock, it's news. At 11 o'clock, nobody's interested. Books will survive. Even today, most of the bookstores you go to, you will see half the books will be authors who are dead and gone long back. They are forever. So journalism is fleeting, is very short, like social media. But art, books, novels are forever.
I mean, Autobiography of a Mad Nation. It was listed for a long time as a Man Asian Literary Prize in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. There's a character in that, Iqbal, who gets murdered by a motiveless person called Vikrant Vaidya. I mean, I'm not alluding to names now here, but when you look at incidents that happened in India in the past few years, this situation seems to be arising somewhere where these kind of incidents happen. Was there some real life incident that provoked you to write that?
No.
No.
Absolutely none. Mad Nation as a novel, see, novels stand by itself. I mean, you read the full novel and you get the crux of it. This guy didn't even kill that guy, and that's why no, it's made obvious on the 3rd page. This is a letter he's written to the president saying, I don't want a pardon. I am to be hanged. You prove me innocent. Otherwise, let it be. I'll die. So that challenging letter to the president who in this came inspired by Dr. Kalam. It's called the People's President, and he decides to say, find out. So it's a way to tell a story. It has, it's set from emergency to Godra, so it's taken every politics. On one given page, you could read only one given page and say the author is belonging to this section of politics, this slice of political ideology. In neither my journalism nor my politics will my own politics be apparent, Suresh. People can say, and they do say, pro BJP, pro TRS, pro Congress, pro YSRCP, pro TDP, or anti of all these. The truth is, nobody knows what my politics are except the EVM, and it doesn't tell anybody. Neither do I. It's my right to keep my ballot is not the right. Secret ballot is your right. People are free to declare their politics by joining political parties or campaigning for. I have my own set of ideologies. It is enough to say two things. One, there is no single party in India that perfectly matches my ideologies, with whom I can be 100% happy. Second, I voted for different parties. I voted for Congress, I voted for BJP, I voted for TRS, I voted for TDP. And if I haven't voted for DMK or RJD, because I didn't live there. Since the time I had voted, I was living in Telugu states. If I had lived in Bihar, maybe I would have voted once for JDU, once for RJD. If I had lived in Tamil Nadu, I would have voted for AIDMK or DMK. I am that set of people who do not belong to one party. We are the ones who make change of governments possible. Because the people who keep voting for Congress, people who keep voting for BJP, they are solid blocks. It's the remaining us who makes democracy viable.
In fact, that's when you're an author, I think I've seen you often kind of at the book releases, you're anchoring many a show. There must be so many politicians and others whom you would have had on stage, and not just a book releases, even interaction with different kind of politicians. I mean, it's like asking a mother who is the best child of your 3 children that you have. But I would ask you, which is the one interaction that you would say was the wow moment for you?
I've enjoyed many interactions. I've enjoyed my interactions with somebody like Dr. Shashi Tharoor a lot. KT Ramarao is an extraordinarily good speaker, and we vibe well. And I mean, we haven't done many shows, but the ones we've done, I understand. So this is almost like a jugalbandi. I enjoyed my sessions with Dr. Subramanian Swamy or Dr. Jairam Ramesh. I enjoyed Sudha Murthy. She's so sweet. She's very warm and so on and so forth. So Vishwanathan Anand was great, and I can go on talk. But the one interaction in live that was the bizarrest, and I think I should share. Never spoken about it. Was with the former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Kiran Kumar Reddy. I was working with New York Times. I was called to his office after it formed a new party. Elections were about around the corner. He set up an office not far away from where we are, near High Tech City. He called me. I go there at 4 o'clock. They make me sit for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, they finally say, please go in. And the moment I step in, he said, which paper you said you are from? I said, New York Times. I'm going to write this piece for New York Times. He said, how will that get me a single vote? I'm not going to waste my time with you. Get lost. And I've never met him since. So the craziest interaction, I don't know what happened. It's like, wow. So I was with Kiran Kumar Reddy. But otherwise, a lot of politicians I've met several chief ministers who are right now CMs in India. Each politician is unique. Each politician is amazing. And they're successful people who worked with people. And it takes a lot to succeed in any walk of life. It's even more harder when it's politics. In a populous country like India, most people don't realize how hard it would be to win elections, even in our apartment complex.
That's true.
Very difficult to win elections at city, state, and country's level. One day there's a rally, the whole city, that's the number of people we are. And for somebody to be able to give hope, to be able to understand the aspirations and echo them and promise to materialize them and actually make a difference. Political people are extraordinary. That job is very difficult. I don't think most of us would survive in politics for 48 hours. That's how tough the job is.
In fact, as an editor of a newspaper like Deccan Chronicle, quite often different things make up the newspaper. There is politics, there is sports, there is business, there is a lot of things happening. But like I asked you about which is your favorite interaction, I would often ask you what excites you more as a part of the newspaper. I know you're more onto the politics part of it, but is there some hidden spark in your hidden talent in you which say this is what I love to do most?
Very sad that politics dominates my day at my newspaper. It is true, but what I love is human interest stories. What I love is stories that, there's this little girl who went to the police station to complain against her mother. And she said, my mother is asking me to eat food on time and please punish her or something. She's not allowing me to.
She took her father also along, I think.
So that story stays with me for very long. I love to write such stories. Similarly, if you ask me, as an editor, if I could just be made the books editor of any of these great newspapers in India, including Deccan Chronicle, if I could only talk to authors and review books and interview writers, I would love it. It's just not a luxury I can afford, sadly. But I would love the day where I don't have anything to do with politics. Once in 5 years, just go and vote, get up in the morning, read books, read books in philosophy, read fiction, my favorite, and talk to those authors and have discussions and not have any politics at all. But
I think as all of us as journalists, we don't retire. That's the biggest problem with all of us. I mean, people like me have gone past the retirement age, but
you don't look like you've retired. You should
I don't
say the secrets.
I could only give a hint to say you talked about Kiran Kumar Reddy. He was my college mate, so that's how old I am. But
even he's pretty fit and something about
he was a wicket keeper in college by the college team. Sriram, but end of the day, when you look at various developing media vehicles, and today television is the biggest screamer of them all. I mean, you go past 8 o'clock and go past any home and you would hear either Arnab screaming or somebody else screaming. And if I were given a chance tomorrow, I'm taking a very hypothetical situation. Sriram Karri is offered a job as an editor of a news channel. Would you take it up?
In fact, some of them scream so loud on one channel, you can hear them on the next channel. So, I think I can moderate a program or two. I have started my career, my first job interview that I succeeded was in a very prominent national television channel. That was so short that it's not even there in my resume anymore, but who knows? I've always been, I've done political consulting, I've set a startup, I've worked as a technical writer in the US with a technical visa with 15 years of education. Who knows? I could have been an Air Force officer or a chess player, and instead here I am, and tomorrow anything comes, I'll be very open to explore, and who knows what will come.
27 years of your career, and that's very short time and to be in as a working career, but when you look at the end of it all, when you want to be remembered, what do you want to be remembered as an individual?
To those who work with me as colleagues, a nice colleague, a kind boss, if some people report to me, but above all, a good friend to those, and everybody should say, he could talk, he could write.
Oh, he asked me, Sriram Karri can talk. I mean, there is no doubt about that. I mean, I had so much of conversations with you, and even this conversation, we could go on and on, but I have pulled you out from your regular work, so I'm sure that you need to get back to your desk and run tomorrow's edition for sure. Wonderful, Sriram, talking to you on this long journey of yours through politics, through various issues that you dealt with, each of which is an inspiration for many of the youngsters who are trying to get into the world of journalism, media and others. Thank you once again for sparing your time and talking to us at Nationalist Hub. It's been wonderful. I mean, really wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Suresh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sriram Karri, editor of Deccan Chronicle, talking about everything from politics to sports to books to people. And as he says, he loves human interest stories. And I'm sure one day we will see more of his books with human stories to boot. That will be the most wonderful thing that we can read, and I'm sure we will all enjoy those days to come. Thank you for watching Nationalist Hub.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.